channel. So for today's look, we're going to be doing this Soft Glam, and the palette that I used was the Anastasia one called Soft Glam. I really love this palette. I think it's one of my favorites from them. You can honestly use any palette that you have at home because all I used was matte colors and they're all neutral, so I'm pretty sure you could find it in your makeup collection. But yeah, so let's just get started. If you guys want to find out how to get this look, just keep on watching. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyes with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Medium Sand. I like this one for priming because it's a little bit thicker, so I feel like it really cancels out all that discoloration and everything. And then afterwards, I'm gonna set that concealer with some powder. I just used a translucent one that I'm gonna use for my face, and the one that I used was by Dermablend. Going into the palette, I'm going in with that burnt orange shade, and I'm using a Morphe brush. The Morphe brush that I'm using is the M441. I picked this one specifically because it's fluffy and it's tapered right in the middle of the brush, so it helps with being precise but also blending. So what I'm doing right here is just focusing the color in my crease and then kind of winging it out at the end. I'm staying away from my lid because we want to put a lighter color later on, so I'm just focusing that in my crease, windshield wiper motions. And then I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. That's why I'm fast forwarding a little bit. So now I'm going in with Rustic, and this is basically a medium tone brown. It's warmer, so you can just find a brown that's in your collection, or if you happen to have this palette, then you can use this shade. But I'm basically putting it right where I put the orange shade, maybe a little bit lower just so the orange shows, and I'm winging it out but also bringing it into my lash line just on the outer corner. So basically the same thing, and the brush that I'm using is a little more precise. It's the Morphe M514. It's just a small blending brush basically. And then once I really concentrate that color in the outer corner, whatever's left of my brush, I'm blending in the front right there. I don't want too much product in the front. And then I'm going back in with that color and the Rustic color, and I'm gonna basically like wing it out as if I'm doing eyeliner. And right now I'm still using that same brush, that little blending brush that I was using earlier, the M514. And then I'm going back in with that burnt orange shade with that fluffy brush again, the M441. Because I want to bring that orange back into the look. I don't want it to disappear too much. And then I'm using another Morphe brush. This is a smudger brush, and the name of it is M508. I'm using this with the Rustic shade, and I'm just lining my eyes again, basically, with that shade. And then I'm going back in with that little blending brush, and I'm using that burnt orange shade to kind of give a gradient effect. And with that same brush, I am grabbing the Rustic color and just deepening up in case I lost that brown. And then I'm going to repeat the same process on this eye. I'm just speeding it up just because I already showed you guys how I did the other eye. So now I'm using this MAC single eyeshadow called Brulee. It's a cool tone cream color. You could use a warm tone, that would look really nice since we're using warm colors, but I don't know, I like mixed a cool tone with these warm shades that are in my crease and outer corner. I'm basically using this to cut the crease. I am not using concealer or anything to cut the crease. I'm just using the shadow to cut it, and that's what's giving that soft effect. And I'm just using a flat brush, and the brush that I'm using is by Morphe as well. It's the M124 brush, and I'm just packing that on, making sure it kind of looks like a cut crease, but obviously without concealer it won't look as crisp, and that's the point. You kind of want to make it look like it's a blur. And I'm also bringing it in the inner corner a lot, like as if you see right here, like I'm starting pretty far in, like near my nose. And then I'm grabbing the burnt orange shade and a smudger brush, and I'm putting it in between the brown and the cream shade just so it blends together. And then I'm just taking a gel eyeliner. I'm just using that to kind of smudge out brown in my lash line with a pencil brush that is also from Morphe. This one is the M431, and I'm just kind of winging it out a little bit. The color is brown, if I didn't say that already. The reason that I chose brown was because I didn't want it to look so heavy and harsh with the black. I wanted something soft, so a dark brown is what I used. And I also used a smudger brush because I wanted it to be kind of blown out. I didn't want it so precise with the small little eyeliner brush. And then right here, I'm grabbing a smudger brush, that one by Morphe, and I'm just grabbing it because it's a little bit more precise, but it's still gonna give that fluffy effect. And it has no product. I'm simply just using that to blend. And then I'm gonna repeat the process on the next eye. And then once the eyes are done, I'm going to start preparing for lashes. So I'm just curling my lashes, and I'm going to apply the MAC Extra Dimension mascara. And then I'm also going to come off camera after this and do my eyebrows and my lashes. So for primer, I'm using the Hangover X by Too Faced. I love this one so much. I think it's probably my favorite primer because it's just so hydrating, and I feel like it gives you that stick, so then when you put on the foundation, it really sticks to the foundation. And then I'm going to go in with foundation, and the foundation I'm using is Note in number 5, which is Honey Beige, and I'm going in with that Morphe times Jaclyn Hill brush JH03. And then after foundation, I'm going to go in with that Tarte Shape Tape Concealer again in Medium Sand. And that brush I'm using is a Real Techniques brush, and it's just like a correcting, like color correcting brush, but I use it for concealer. It came in a set of 4. And then I'm going with the finishing powder in the Dermablend that's translucent, and I'm just setting my under eyes and my forehead, and then I'm gonna go in with a different brush and just set my whole face. And then I'm just going to set my brows now that I put powder on with the Clear Brow Gel by Anastasia. And then I'm going in with my HOOLA bronzer, and this is a Japanese brush. It's really nice because it's kind of like a knockoff the NARS brush. So I'm just using that to bronze. And then I'm going in with this MAC blush. It is called Sweet Enough. It's a mineralized blush, and I'm just putting that on the apples of my cheeks. And for the highlight, I'm going with the MAC palette Hyper Real Glow in Gold, and I'm using that middle shade with a Morphe x Jaclyn Hill brush, the JH07, and highlighting with that. And then I go back in with that HOOLA bronzer, and I'm not contouring my nose, but I'm going underneath just to make it a little shorter looking. And then I'm just gonna smoking out that under eye. So I'm going in with that burnt orange on a pencil brush from Morphe again, and then I'm gonna go in with that brown shade, that medium brown, Rustic. And then finally I'm using a new shade. This is a deeper brown called Cypress Umber, and I'm just gonna use that just on the outer corners. I'm not gonna smoke it out all the way in. And then I'm gonna line my waterline with Groundbreaker by MAC. It's a brown with shimmer in it, but I recommend Teddy from them because it's more creamy. And then I'm gonna line my lips with the Stripdown liner. And then I'm just gonna fill it in a little bit, but leaving the center not filled. Then I'm grabbing the MAC lipstick in Honey Love, and I'm using that in the center of my lips. And to finish off, I'm using the gloss by Dose of Colors. This was a collab with Desi and Katy, and it's just clear with some gold flecks. And then I'm going to set my face with the Fix Plus by MAC, and then that'll be it for today's look. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.